Have you ever wondered why my psychic development exercises, a lot of them, only have 4 options, not 10, 20, 60, or 150? There's a very specific reason, and it's rooted in how intuitive intelligence actually grows. So stick around, and I am going to clarify why I teach this way. Now, you've probably noticed, and if you haven't noticed, then maybe from here on out you will notice. Some of the psychic development tests that I create, they're mostly in short form video on my channel. They only have 4 options. There may only be 4 colors to choose from, or 4 cards. Essentially, making it seem easier to the naked and ignorant eye. But it's architecture, and I do this for a very specific reason. These are the reasons. So, just to give you a little backstory, I have been psychic since I was born, and it's to my understanding that we all are. But I didn't know, trust, and realize for sure that I was a medium, that I was psychic, and had so much proof that I was finally able to be like, oh my God, like I knew my purpose. It is literally the the light switch that flipped. I was deep in heroin and meth addiction for 20 plus years. But when I had this one experience, but it wasn't just one experience, this was the experience that it took, but I don't know how many experiences, tons upon tons upon tons upon tons. But I didn't have that experience until I was 36. I'm 44 today. But I had proof before then, but my mind, because of the conditioning, kept overriding it, kept disqualifying my experience, kept talking me out of my power until this, one experience where I was working with a stranger, and his passed on wife was literally spelling her name in my ear to where it came out of my mouth. And from that point on, it was like, oh, all the voices, all of the experiences, all of the astral traveling, literally my whole life made sense. But it took a really long time to get there, and a lot of work, and a lot of heartbreak, and a lot of being on the streets and going through some crazy shit and getting to the outskirts of society so I could literally numb all the conditioning and all the programming and everything out to where I could actually listen and allow myself to be who I was, regardless of, society's conditioning and to what people tell us, how we're raised, how we're supposed to be, all that shit. So when I'm teaching from a place of experience, of deep psychological warfare that I have gone through since a very young age with myself and with the universe and everything and everyone around me. So I do things for a specific reason. And so when there's only 4 choices, this is to build confidence. This is to build a relationship with your abilities. And this is to start to build trust into in the information that you're receiving and how. So Yeah, sure. I could make psychic development exercises with 150 choices. And how many people do you think would get those right? Because they have no acclimation to their inner guidance system, or very little, and no confidence, and are completely up here. Not many. So I am not here to help the few. I am here to help a lot of the collective who are ready to tap into their core operating system. And in order to do that and to build trust in it, to override the brainwash and the conditioning, you have to have confidence, and you have to have proof that your mind can't talk you out of. And you have to be able to distinguish what you're hearing and how to develop technique towards those specific gifts. Not necessarily always hearing, but I speak to hearing a lot because clairaudience is, it's like my strong suit. So it's been coming up in the comments, or I'm seeing people, probably because they got the exercise wrong, trying to project and question my way of teaching, and question my abilities as a psychic or as a teacher. So I thought it was time to get on here and explain why I do things the way that I do and how it can help you in the long run. And listen, you're not just going into these exercises and not doing anything and not paying attention. You're not guessing with your mind. Your mind is brainwashed. It isn't where psychic information comes through. It isn't your core operating system. It is second, third, or fourth to your core operating system. It is meant to be picked up and used as a tool, not the giver of answers, of an intuitive or godly nature, of a higher self nature. So through these exercises, you have 4 choices or whatever the practice is. You ask the question. Ask God, ask your angels, ask your guides, ask your inner authority, ask your inner guidance system. A lot of the times I'll have you ask me as if I'm in the room with you, because what this does is it puts you in observation mode, to where you are listening and you are scanning your awareness for the answer. Usually the core operating system will answer very quickly, even before I'm done speaking. And then the mind will come in second, usually with a different answer, trying to argue or make the intuitive answer wrong, because that's what it's been trained to do. It has been trained to override your core operating system of psychic intelligence, period. That's what it's been trained to do. So it's going to do its job. So you need to get real clear on what the mind sounds like and how it functions, in order to get very clear about how your core operating system of psychic awareness is communicating with you, which can show up in many different ways. So how do we do this? We start with easy exercises. We start with easy exercises to build confidence, so you can start to see, oh my God, because most of the time, or in my experience, and what I still notice to this day, even in myself, the intuitive answer will come in first. If I don't notice it, or I might not notice it until later because I have delayed processing, the mind will kick in. So maybe I'll go with the choice of the mind, which at first seems like your intuition. But after you do so many of these exercises, you're going to start to realize where the intuitive answer came through, but you decided to go with your mind's answer that you can see came second, after the intuitive answer came through. These kinds of things are important because you are starting to be able to distinguish the different functions of each, how they respond, how they act, and most importantly, what the communication of your core operating system of psychic awareness, how it communicates with you. And then once you build that relationship and build that confidence, you can start to assign technique. You can start to assign the ways in which your system's going to communicate with you. And that's it. So you gain this larger control over your abilities, so it's not so out of control and crazy, which is, a part of it. I went through that shit for, I don't even know, I can't even tell you how long, like 20, not quite 20 years. I mean, damn near, which is psychological warfare. And I'm telling you that you don't have to be in it as long as I was. I am here to help you get control over that shit in a not so battleistic, if that's even a word, not such a battle with yourself type way that takes forever, seems like. My exercises provide you proof right there in your face that you can begin to trust in the moment. And I have hundreds of them, and I'm always making more of them. And okay, so it's a doorway, not a destination. It is a doorway to building confidence and to overriding, because once you have so much proof, once you have so much and you build so much confidence with your internal guidance system, your core operating system, separate from the mind can't override it anymore. It gets harder and harder for the conditioning and the brainwash to have an effect on your decision making, an effect on your life, and an effect on your internal system and how you relate to the universe and the world around you and all of the crazy energy around you, which is very much needed. For me, anyway. I know I'm not the only one. So now that you've watched this, I implore, I don't know. I would love, if you needed a new perspective, to now go, into my psychic development exercises with a new perspective. Not all of them only have 4 choices. I have many different kinds of psychic development tests, but I'm just saying, if your mind is sitting there trying to tell you that I'm full of shit because there aren't 150 choices and that anybody who gets one of these exercises right and there was only 4 choices, that doesn't mean shit, that is your mind talking you out of your power. Listen to my guidance on the exercises, because if you're just going into them and doing things your own way and letting your mind run the show, you're going to think it's bullshit. But if you're doing my exercises the way I'm guiding you to do them, by focusing inward, asking the question, pausing if you need to, and then scanning your awareness for the answer, and then choosing whichever you choose, honestly within yourself, you'll see the value. And just because you got one wrong and you want to be a dick, don't give up, because one is not enough. Even with me, when I do psychic development exercises that other people make, if I get one wrong, I'm not giving up. I'm going to go do another one, because sometimes it takes a second to calibrate and get in there. All right, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it, and comment if you have any questions that I can make you a video or help you in the comments. Again, my name is Lindsay Latham. I am a psychic intelligence architect. And if you want to learn more about me, there'll be a link in the description or the pinned comments or something. Right, bye.